Mission to order. Mr. Rathel, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda is roll call. Mr. Moran is here. Mr. Rathel? Here. Mr. Mann is excused. Mr. Filarski is excused. Mr. Hornby? Here. Mr. Loftus?
Here.
Mr. Nadeau?
Here.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Move approval as submitted.
Motion by Mr. Rathel, supported by Mr. Nadeau. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is presentations. I'm assuming we have none tonight, Janelle?
None.
We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the March 18th, 2024 general meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nadeau,
Second.
or by Mr. Loftus to approve the minutes as submitted. Is there any discussion? I'd like to thank Mr. Rathel for chairing that meeting as I was out of town. So thank you, Mr. Rathel.
You're welcome.
Fine job.
There's no other questions. We have a motion by Mr. Nadeau, supported by Mr. Loftus. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our financial report. The approval of the March 2024 financials.
Any highlights, Janelle? Anything we need to be focusing on as we wrap up another fiscal year?
None that we didn't cover during the budget meeting last month. Just to highlight, just to wrap up something, I was gonna mention this on the manager report, but the Lattice case, we did end up going to court. Once again, the defendants did not show up, so we will be back to a new court date for, the Judge McNally asked the council to provide data explaining that why they needed to come up with financial records for the court. So if they do not show up with financials on May 20th, they will put out a warrant for their arrest. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Take a rest for it, seriously.
Thanks, Janelle.
Yes.
I'll give a summary of our report. Our revenue is budgeted at $1,144,429, and our year-to-date revenue is $1,167,807, which takes us through 93% of our budgeted year. Our expenditures are budgeted at the same $1,144,429. In our year-to-date, encumbrances and expenditures are $940,590, which is 75% of our budget. Our capital reserves as of March 31st, 2024 is $788,789, and we have past due rent as of April 5th of $23,831, of which $17,616 is Lattice, I'm sorry, which is what Janelle was just talking about. So, is there any questions for Janelle on the financial report?
I do.
Mr. Hornby?
Building 75.
I was going to talk about this in the manager report. So there was payment made today. I did have a meeting with him last week, and there was payment made today. He explained to me his situation that he's in currently. So we did discuss some sort of scheduled payment plan for him, but the first rent, so if he does not make payment for at least 1 month's rent, which is $2,500 by Friday, then he understands that we will be moving forward with notice. So on Monday, the 22nd, we will be wrapping back around to figure out when the final payments will be made, with the understanding that if he cannot make payment, so as it stands, it's really March, April, and May is what we are right now that's due. And then the late fees, added to that.
Janelle, did you say he made a payment today?
He made a payment today.
Of how much?
$500.
So the balance now is 5115.
Correct. Well, yes, correct. Which includes the late payments.
Any other questions, Mr. Hornby?
Yes. Building 63, 900, 1,000.
His payment will be made in full tomorrow.
Replacement tenant, I was thinking off to a bad start already.
That tenant shares the space with another tenant, that once their lease is up, I believe in October, he has already made suggestion that he would like to take it over by himself.
Next question.
Anything else?
Help me out with revenues. I see that year-to-date, $1,167,000 and some change appears to me to be slightly higher than the budget number. However, going to the far right column with our percentages, that is less than 100%, and it should be slightly over 100%. So it struck me, and as I doodled with my calculator, I couldn't get those to make sense, although I would think they would be formulas set up in the software, so help me out here.
That would be correct. I didn't notice that. Sometimes I look at the year-to-date previous revenue, so I didn't notice that was off by that. I don't calculate those numbers. That'll be something I'll have to discuss with the finance department.
And I think I had the same problem with the expense numbers. So
I-
I didn't know if those were calculated. I thought they might have been spreadsheet formulas.
Well, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
This is
Good to know.
something- Yep.
Can you look into that, Janelle? and
Absolutely.
Make sure that those are
Yep,
corrected
yep,
for the next meeting.
Yep.
I should do it.
That's it?
So what percentage did you come up with, Greg?
Oh, I didn't write anything down. It just, again, as I look at these, it's clearly we're over 100% of budget and there's something wrong there, so everything probably needs to be tested.
105% or something. Yep.
I'll run through it with the finance department.
Any other questions for Janelle on the budget? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the March 2024 financials.
Well, we don't want to approve them the way they are, right?
We can table, sure.
Until they're corrected? Okay.
Somebody want to make a motion to table?
I'll move we table the financials until we get further guidance on discrepancies noted.
Motion by Mr. Loftus. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Hornby to table the March 2024 financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our action items. Item number 1 is the approval of the aeronautical lease for John. Is it, one of them says MILHUC and the other one says MIHUC. Is there an L in that, Janelle?
There's an L on it.
With John Mihuc. Based upon the recommendation of the Grosville Airport Commerce Park Manager, the Grosville Airport Commerce Park Commission hereby approves the lease for John Mihuc. He will be leasing on a 1-year lease, a total square footage of
180 square feet.
180 square feet at $14.40 a square foot for a monthly rent of $216, which equals $2,592 a year.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rathel, supported by Mr. Loftus. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next action item is item number 2, which is the approval contract with MDOT Aero. Before us, we have a recommendation based upon the recommendation from the Grosseal Airport Commerce Park Manager. The Grosseal Airport Commerce Park Commission hereby approves the contract with MDOT Aero. The state is funding this through a one-time general fund contribution. The state is investing $3.9 million to upgrade all non-federal AWOS stations through a one-time federal fund contribution. And we are getting that upgrade that will be executed on a 20-year contract.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Loftus.
Support.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rathel.
Second it.
Seconded by Mr. Loftus. Janelle, I'm assuming this is, as it states, kind of a one-time deal because they got some additional money
Correct.
and they're updating these for a lot of different airports in the state.
Probably quite a few. I don't know how many they're doing in total, but they're wanting to get them going as soon as possible. So they're updating the AWAS, including some lightning thing that they're going to be doing to it as all included as well.
And so our lease is a 10-year lease.
20?
20 years.
20-year lease, $10.
$10 a month, yep.
Is a
Yep,
10-year, yep.
correct. So $10 a year for 20 years. And then they do all the maintenance as, nothing's really changing except for the actual station itself. So,
Any other comments or questions?
Trying to figure out if there's a downside to this, and I don't see one. Just keep everything else up and running.
Sure doesn't seem that way. Any
Been
downside?
burned before, but, you know, we do want to keep the AWAS up and running, especially with somebody else willing to pay for it, so. Looks good.
If there's no other questions, we have a motion by Mr. Rathel, supported by Mr. Loftus. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our discussion items, the manager's report. Item number 1 is crack seal and paint. Janelle?
this is also a state program that we talked about a year ago, but they are going to be moving forward, so just so everybody knows, I think it's going to take about 2 days for them to crack and seal it, so we will have to have some sort of closure for that. I don't have any updates at this time. They said it would be taking place sometime in mid-May to end of June, so just letting everyone knows that that will be happening.
You know how much notice we typically get? I mean, will we have a few weeks' notice, a month notice, or, you know?
I don't know, I haven't done the crack seal before, but I would imagine we would have, at least a week notice before we need to put up a NOTAM and let the pilots know that they'll have to make other arrangements. So,
Any questions for Janelle on the crack seal and paint? Hearing none, we'll move on to our next.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I had a couple other things
Oh,
I'd like to
go
add
ahead.
as well, that came up after this. So, as you know, Gene Kowalski retired, and we had application process go through. We had quite a few applicants, and we narrowed it down to interviews upwards. I believe we interviewed 8 applicants, but 4 really good qualified applicants. We did move forward, and we're going to be putting it on the agenda for their board approval for the position of Gene Kowalski's with a great qualified applicant. So look for that to come next week. Just a heads up. I think this person will be great.
Janelle, were these all 8 people current township employees?
No.
No.
No, we had one current township employee that did apply, but that position, but they were just staying put where they were. So the other 7 applicants were a couple from the Downriver area. So, but I think we'll all be very happy. I think the skill set will blend quite nicely, so FYI on that. So that was the one thing I wanted to add. Island Fest is coming up. We're preparing for the Island Fest at the end of May, beginning of June. I think is it May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd or something for the Island Fest. So we are coming up on that. As we know that the Doggy Hotel will be opening on May 9th. And just to let everybody know, did everybody get their emails for the master plan on May 3rd? Coming up, hopefully everybody got that. That should be exciting. So, and that's it.
Thanks, Janelle. Any questions for Janelle? Hearing none, we'll move on to our subcommittee reports that we have none tonight. Does any member of the commission have any open business?
Just one thing that popped up. Historical Society had their annual meeting on Saturday, and one of the things coming up is the 100th anniversary of the first of the naval aviators on this property. So as in 1925, 4 naval reservists, no airplanes, no buildings. I decided, I guess, work with the Coast Guard here, to set up a naval operation here. And we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of that. And we just kicked around some ideas, like we should have some kind of a recognition event. So just first blush, no idea how. Maybe tie it in with Gearheads if they're still here. I don't think we want to try to overlap it with Island Fest, but sometime that summer have some kind of a 100th
Are
anniversary.
you on the board of the Historical Society?
Not anymore.
Because I've already been talking to Karen and Greg Carmenson about this.
Okay, good.
So you just heard about it, or what?
I just heard about it Saturday.
Okay.
Good, okay.
Okay.
So I'm not blindsiding you, or?
No, I just wondered if you were on the board and if someone else was talking about it, or, but
Greg
anyway,
Carmen?
yeah, we can go offline
All
with
right.
that, but.
It's exciting.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Nady.
I don't know if everybody's seen the hole in the fence over the gate, the little driveway that comes off of East River. It's for airport maintenance, isn't that, Janelle, isn't that an airport maintenance road?
It's the airport maintenance road where the DTE generator was stored.
Well, anyway,
Right there off of East River?
that gate that's there, somebody cut a hole in the gate, about 5 foot high by 3 foot wide.
Know about that?
We just found out about it today.
Well, a resident over there came in to Township Hall today and brought up that somebody had done that.
Well, actually, we were out on I go out on the run with the guys every once in a while. We were out on a run today, checking it out, and Frank stops the car and says, "Wow, didn't see that before." So it's like a 5 by 3 hole in the airport maintenance gate that, I mean, it was done well. So
It was a nice job of
It-
destroying our property.
so anyways,
Somebody knew the proper tools.
they use proper tools,
Did
yeah.
you call
I-
the police and tell
I've-
them about it?
I filed a police report, but as we were filing the police report, a gentleman came out and said, "Oh, you know how," anyways, so that was what happened. So I did file a police report, and, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, back up. The gentleman came out.
And said,
what?
we need access to the bike path. How are we gonna get access to the bike path?
Meaning that it was an
So-
inside job?
Well, it wasn't an inside job, but, what do you mean?
Somebody that wanted access to the
Somebody
bike
wanted,
path?
yeah, somebody who wanted access to the bike path.
Didn't want to walk to either end
So then they,
to get
yeah.
onto it. So they decided to come in the middle.
Obviously, we need to get that repaired, right?
We do need to get that repaired. So we're working on the repair, which we don't know what that's gonna look like, right? So,
Well, let me ask this. So the hole in the fence goes to the path going down to the nature center?
Correct.
Okay, so it doesn't directly go out to an illegal
No.
entrance? So if somebody felt obligated or motivated to go cut that hole in the fence, should we look at whether or not an entrance is needed there for that?
So I think
And just
that,
keep it open and make it like,
great idea, yeah. No, we talked about that later on. So we were gonna reach out to the bike path. What is it, Brian Pollock? And talk to Brian and see what their idea is, because it can't be left the way that it is, because it's not safe. So if you had someone walk in, I mean, it's jagged.
well, if it only.
So-
That's not a bike path.
No,
No,
it's not a
it's
bike
the-
path.
Walking path.
It's a,
It's part of nature and land, isn't it? It's not a bike path, or greenways
no,
and
it's,
open spaces.
no, it's
It's
the
our-
bike
it's-
path.
it's-
Bike
it's-
path committee, it was their project.
It was a bike path?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a bike, well, it doesn't matter. So, but I think that we need to look to see if we want to make that a permanent entrance point, because it's not doing anything, it's not giving any more access to the airfield as they would have if they came in either end of it, right? It's just, so,
Midpoint entry.
But the idea of the gates was to not have vehicles being able to access it. So it'd have to be, you know how we did the
Pedestrian
man,
gate.
we did
well,
the
it's
man
not-
gate?
Can a vehicle get through the hole in the fence now?
No, but that's why but we wanted access, so we need to keep the access so vehicles can get in and out of there. And then put, you know how we did the man gate over at the airport nature area?
Well, tell the bike path committee that, you know what, if you guys want a gate there, that's fine, you're paying for it, or we're gonna close it back up. But obviously, you need entrance there because somebody illegally cut the fence, they were so motivated to do it.
So it just happened today, so it's kind of fresh off the,
Could you report back to us at the next meeting?
I can.
Anything else?
No.
Next item is the chair report. I have nothing new to report tonight, so public comment. No one in
Kind of
public.
sparse.
There's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rathel,
Second?
supported by Mr. Loftus to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.